Hello, everyone, and welcome to Ask a Nutritionist, our weekly mini episode of Dishing Up Nutrition. You haven't heard my voice before. I'm Caroline Wilcox, registered dietitian nutritionist at Nutritional Weight and Wellness. Have you ever looked at the clock around 2 or 3 p.m. in the afternoon and wondered where all your energy went? Maybe your eyes feel heavy, your concentration disappears, you start craving something sweet, or maybe you find yourself pouring another cup of coffee just to get through the rest of the workday. The afternoon slump is one of the most common complaints I hear from clients, especially busy professionals, parents, teachers, healthcare workers, and frankly, anyone juggling a packed schedule. But here's something that often surprises people. The afternoon slump doesn't usually begin at 3 p.m., it often starts at lunch. Today, we're going to talk about why skipping lunch or eating an unbalanced lunch can leave you feeling exhausted later in the day. We'll discuss blood sugar, hormones, metabolism, your brain, and even why stepping away from your desk during lunch can be just as important as what's on your plate. So let's dive in. How does skipping lunch cause an afternoon crash? First, let's talk about what's happening inside your body. Your brain is incredibly active. Although it makes up only about 2% of your body weight, it uses roughly 20% of your body's energy each day. That means your brain depends on a steady supply of fuel. When you skip lunch, your body simply doesn't receive the nutrients it needs to maintain stable blood sugar. Instead, your blood sugar gradually falls throughout the afternoon. As it drops, your brain notices. That's when symptoms begin: the fatigue, the brain fog, trouble concentrating, irritability, headaches, and cravings for sugar or caffeine. Your body is simply asking for fuel. Another thing that happens is your body starts releasing stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline to help keep your blood sugar from falling too low. These hormones are helpful in stressful times, but they're not meant to carry you through every workday because you skipped lunch. Over time, relying on stress hormones for energy can leave you feeling both wired and exhausted. Think about the last time you were overly hungry. Were you patient, calm, focused? Probably not. Your brain depends on glucose for energy. When blood sugar becomes unstable, the areas responsible for attention, memory, decision-making, and emotional regulation don't function as efficiently. Clients often tell me, I can't focus. I keep rereading the same email. I'm falling asleep at my desk, or I just don't feel motivated for the rest of the workday. Many assume they're burned out, but often they're simply underfueled. Food provides much more than calories. Lunch supplies amino acids from protein that help make neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin. These are chemicals involved in motivation, mood, and concentration. Healthy fats support brain cell membranes, and colorful vegetables provide antioxidants that help reduce inflammation and support cognitive health. A balanced lunch literally feeds your brain. So what does skipping lunch do to blood sugar and insulin? This is where things become especially interesting. When you eat a balanced lunch, your blood sugar rises gradually. Your pancreas releases insulin to help shift that glucose into cells where it becomes usable energy. Ideally, the blood sugar pattern we want to see is that it rises gently and comes back down gradually. You feel steady for several hours. But if you skip lunch, the pattern looks much different. Blood sugar continues to drop, and eventually your body is desperate for a quick hit of energy. That's when stress hormones are released, and that's when cravings hit. Suddenly, those cookies in the break room look impossible to resist. If your lunch isn't until late afternoon or if it's mostly refined carbohydrates, you can experience a different pattern. We see a rapid spike in blood sugar followed by another sharp crash. Now you're riding a roller coaster instead of maintaining that steady energy level we want. This cycle often repeats itself day after day. Our circadian rhythm plays a part too. Our bodies naturally experience a slight dip in alertness during the early afternoon. That's completely normal. But here's the important distinction. A healthy circadian dip might simply make you feel a little less alert. It shouldn't leave you unable to think clearly, desperate for sugar, or struggling to keep your eyes open. When lunch is skipped, or it's a meal high in refined carbohydrates like a sub sandwich with a bag of chips and a soda, that normal dip becomes much more dramatic. Think of it this way. Your circadian rhythm might lower your energy by, let's say, 10%. Poor nutrition can lower it another 40%. Together, that creates a wall you cannot push through. And another factor, some people might skip lunch thinking they're saving calories. One misconception is that skipping meals boosts metabolism or helps with weight loss. The opposite tends to happen for most people. When you regularly undereat during the day, several things are occurring. First, hunger becomes much stronger later in the evening. It's common for clients to tell me they eat very little all day and then can't stop snacking after dinner. That's not a lack of discipline. That's biology. Your body is just trying to catch up. Second, energy for daily movement naturally decreases. You may move less without even realizing it. You might want to lay down all evening instead of being active because you're exhausted or simply have less motivation to stay active. Third, consistently missing meals can make it harder to meet your protein, essential fats, fiber, and micronutrient needs. Those nutrients are essential for supporting metabolism and keeping energy levels steady. Your metabolism works best when your body consistently receives the nutrients it needs, not when it's constantly trying to compensate for long periods without food and trying to keep up with everything you need to get done during the day. Now let's answer the important question. What should I eat at lunch to avoid the 3 p.m. crash? This is where we can make a huge difference. A satisfying lunch doesn't have to be complicated, it simply needs to be balanced. I like to think of lunch as building 3 important pieces, and this goes for any meal or snack. First, protein. Aim for about 25 to 35 grams of high-quality protein, or about the size of your clenched fist. Great choices include chicken, turkey, pork, salmon, tuna, beef, eggs, cottage cheese, Greek yogurt, tofu, and edamame. Second, healthy fats. Healthy fats slow digestion and provide lasting energy. Great examples would be avocado, olive oil, nuts and seeds, olives, avocado oil or olive oil-based mayos, and high-fat dairy products if tolerated. Third, fiber-rich carbohydrates, with a main emphasis on vegetables. Vegetables add fiber, antioxidants, vitamins, and minerals while adding volume to meals to make them more satisfying. Other starchier carbohydrates, we like to keep them around a half a cup per meal to provide steady fuel. Think sweet potatoes, quinoa, brown or wild rice, beans, legumes, fruit, or winter squash. So how do we make a lunch that supports energy? Instead of counting calories, I encourage clients to build their plate visually. A simple guideline looks like this. About 1/4 of the plate protein, about half the plate those non-starchy vegetables, and about 1/4 those starchy carbohydrates. And then add about 2 tablespoons of healthy fats. For many adults, that might look like 4 to 6 ounces of chicken, 2 cups of raw or roasted vegetables, 1/2 cup cooked quinoa, and 1/4 avocado with a tablespoon of olive oil for dressing. That's a lunch that delivers protein, fiber, healthy fats, and lasting energy. The goal is eating enough to support your body and brain throughout the day. And don't forget hydration. Even mild dehydration can make fatigue and brain fog worse. Keeping a water bottle nearby and drinking consistently throughout the day can make a noticeable difference. One last piece I want to talk about is your eating environment. This is something we often overlook. Many people eat lunch answering emails, joining meetings, or scrolling social media. Think about when you're eating a meal. Are you paying attention to what you're eating, or are you distracted? Taking an intentional lunch break offers several benefits. It allows your nervous system to shift out of that fight or flight mode we often are in at work into that rest and digest mode, where digestion works the most effectively. You'll likely notice your hunger and fullness cues more accurately, and mentally, even 10 or 15 minutes away from your computer can improve focus for the rest of the afternoon. If possible, step outside, get a little sunlight, take a short walk, stretch, chat with a friend, or simply eat without multitasking. Think of your lunch break as recharging your brain, not just filling up your stomach. How we eat matters in addition to what we eat. If there's one message I hope you take away today, it's this. The afternoon slump isn't inevitable. Will our bodies naturally experience a small dip in energy during the afternoon? Skipping lunch or eating an unbalanced lunch can turn that gentle dip into a steep plummet. A balanced lunch with quality protein, healthy fats, and fiber-rich carbohydrates provides your brain and body with the steady fuel it needs to help you stay energized, productive, and focused all afternoon. And remember, giving yourself permission to actually pause and enjoy your lunch may be just as valuable as the meal itself. Thank you so much for joining me today on my first Ask a Nutritionist. If you need support in this area, come meet with me or one of the other amazing dietitians at NWW. We are here to help. Give us a call at 651-699-3438 or visit us at weightandwellness.com. I'll talk to you next time.